Good morning, Denise. I can see you. Felicia, good morning. Thank you for being on with video. Then I get to Carrie's there. There's Lynn. Thank you. Then I feel like there are real people back there. And I know they're just nice to see your faces. Thank you. Here we are on Saturday, something like the 18th, right? And then next Saturday will be my last Saturday, I think, because I don't know what the timing's going to be like in New Zealand and Australia. So I will be there the entire month of February. So amazing, so incredible. I feel so just blessed. One, that I'm wise enough to take the time, which by itself has taken a lot to go, okay, and let go of everything. And then, of course, when you do that, you have the opportunity to notice all of your afflictions. What about this? What about that? What if they don't? What if they do? What if all the plants die? Right? What if they're better when you come back than they were when you left? What? Right? It's endless, endless possibilities for suffering, and beginning with these old habits, these old afflictions of mind that we're going to talk about today. And I apologize because I wasn't smart enough, though I think there will be a way for me to share the 4 vows that we're going to be talking about today. And I'm thinking we may only get to 1 or 2. And I think that's plenty also, because the whole chunk of the teachings are in these 4 phrases, and we'll be talking about them. Remember, we did the 3 knots in the string called the cord, then called the blessing cord, and we tied them. And the 3rd knot was your own vow, right? Remember this, your own aspiration, your own commitment, your own, you could call it a resolution, though I want us to be careful about this idea that somehow the boundless heart is measurable. It would be crazy, wouldn't it? And really, the vow, whatever one you wrote, was about the commitment to the end of suffering, right? To be healthier, to be happier, to be more easeful, to be more connected, to be more forgiving, to be more, whatever your aspiration, it had something to do with the idea that by your very quality of being, I love this idea, but by your very quality of being, patient, forgiving, loving, kind, gentle, you are contributing something to the world. Did anybody write a resolution that said, I'm just going to try to run over as many people? No, I'm going to swear as often as I can at the cat, the dog, the kid, right? You set an aspiration without any instruction, and for me, the Buddha or the lineage, to make this world and you better in it, didn't you? Yeah. And these 4 Bodhisattva vows are the final vows taken. The first are the refuge vow. May I understand the truth of suffering. May I understand its causes. May I, commit myself to practices, to teachings, to placing the mind, really, isn't it? Then placing the mind over and over towards these things that we understand will be of benefit not only to ourselves, but to all beings. And all beings, meaning all those people in New Zealand and Australia that I haven't met yet and that I will never meet, right? All those people in Syria, all those people in the Ukraine, all those people that are being peaceable, are being kind in every single moment then. And I can't say this enough, because it is lived, then how? Simply one moment at a time. And then I said, I think last week, this is a guaranteed path of failure, didn't I? And so let's fail together. Let's try and not get it, and then try again and goof it up again. And like endlessly, I've been doing this now 30 something years, and I can't get over, but with a lot of humor, thankfully, a lot of compassion for myself, like, wow, you stepped right in it again, like 30 something years, reciting the vows, committing every morning, reflecting every evening, committing throughout the day. Wow. Right? Just I don't know. I just said that yesterday to my husband. Too many things happening in the middle of a journey weekend, me trying to get all the parts together. And of course, 5 of them are not containable because, right, somebody can't get the car and they don't, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, what time are you planning? I don't know. I don't know. Stop asking me stupid shit. I didn't quite say it like that, but he got the message.
Learn about that edge.
I didn't have to say it at all. Right? It's like a dog. You go, no, well, no, we're clear.
You've been married.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's still here. He's still upstairs thinking I'm okay. So that's pretty impressive, right? And then we know where the Bodhisattva is, don't we? It's not in us at all, only it's in the others who then begin again with us, right? Who commit again with us, who like the Sangha, and then like the Sangha of your loved ones, and the Sangha really go, let's just start again, right? And this by itself honors that first vow. And so I'm going to talk for just a minute about it, and then we're going to see if we can't investigate the vow a little bit. So I said already that the Bodhisattva vows are considered the last, meaning you have already understood the 3 refuge, the triple gem, which is I am of the capacity to awaken in this lifetime, that you know something about that you trust that possibility in yourself, even if it is only for a moment. It doesn't say every day in every way, no matter what, getting better and better. It doesn't say that, thankfully. It says, I got it, and then I didn't, and then I got it again, and then I didn't get it a whole bunch, and then I got it, right? But that you recognize that you have that capacity within you, and by virtue of its recognition, you commit yourself to that. I'm going to keep trying for that. I'm going to set that as the bar, the star, the possibility. It also says then what? That I recognize that truth, that all of us in this world and all those that you meet have that same capacity, that we understand the Dharma of this, no matter how blah, 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 they seemed in that moment. Had you caught me in that Kodak moment, you'd have gone, I don't know, maybe not this lifetime, right? But that no matter what the circumstance, no matter how we are in any particular moment, that the possibility for awakening is again right here. And if we really knew that for ourselves and then others, how would you then live? You would live with love for all beings, because you'd go, bad moment, I understand, I've had them, and then we begin again together, right? And then I offer whatever I can, helpful or not helpful, I don't know, towards that realization. And that's the point of doing that in community, isn't it? Is that we need each other on the path to become the bodhisattvas, to become the Buddhas that we have committed ourselves to being, don't we? Because just being kind with oneself is not sufficient. but it counts, but not ultimately sufficient, right? Because then that can nurture greed and some other things that we don't need to talk about today. Right, but that's the first part, the three refuge, the triple gem, those are the first vows. Then, and we talked on that first Saturday, the Burning Bowl Saturday, about the fact that that doesn't make you a Buddhist. And I get a little allergic when I hear that. You know, if you want to be a Buddhist, you take those vows. Well, you could be a Christian with the same commitment. I think Christians have that same aspiration. You could, right, be a Jew and have that aspiration. You couldn't you? And then I don't think there's a tradition that doesn't set that as its commitment. I can't think of. I can't think of. And then the second vow was the precepts. Remember that knot? And that knot says, I'm going to try as hard as I can not to kill things. I'll try as hard as I can not to take what's not needed. I'll try as hard as I can not to feed my own delusion with drugs or alcohol or consumables that aren't necessary. I'll try as hard as I can not to be harsh of speech and not to exploit others, but to protect them. And in that particular precept, it says sexually, but I don't see it like that. I see it as in every way, don't you? That we don't exploit others in any way, and that we protect others then who are deserving of protection, right? All those, the elderly, children, those who are ill, those who are unsheltered, those who are unfed, right? That's the commitment there. And then this vow, being the last, is the third knot, and we'll cover at least one part today. And this knot says, until all beings, this is where everybody goes, well, I don't know. Oh, it's a biggie. Until all beings are free from suffering, I will continue. Now, this is particularly relevant in the Buddhist teachings, because in the early teachings, it says, get to enlightenment, that's good enough. Just try to get there. Just try to be a good person, do good things. If you can do that, you've pretty well got it going on. That's the first school. The second school says, well, I don't know. That could end up being a little greedy and a little selfish. And though it could work out really well for you, what about all those others? What about all those others? And I remember early in my training, I've told this story before. Repetitive dreams are always me, right? You want to pay attention to these. I would have a dream of swimming, and I was a strong swimmer, and I was swimming literally across the flood, as if it was written, swimming across the flood. And I got to the other shore, and I was like, "Phew, I made it!" And then I looked back, and a whole sea of people were drowning. And I remember the feeling of that very distinctly, which is, I will not be able to be happy here. As safe as I am, as right grounded as I am, as anchored now as I am, there will be no ease, there will be no joy, there will be. And then I understood the Bodhisattva vow, right? Which is not only for ourselves, but then those others. And do you get to start with your own dog, your own family, yes, don't you? And then we just keep letting that circle, that spirit grow wider and wider, right? So then it eventually even includes that person who cut you off, who didn't pay you back, right? Who took your favorite engagement ring. I just had that situation in my office, right? And then you commit yourself still, right? And that is what this particular statement is. So let's read it. It says, the four Bodhisattva vows. Beings are numberless. We just talked about that. I vow to liberate them. We'll just stop right there for a second. And then how? How am I going to liberate all those others struggling, suffering, confused, addicted, afflicted? How? By showing compassion. And how would we show compassion? Not a behavior, but how would you get to that? I can offer this afflicted other, this suffering other, this lying other, this stealing other, this unfair other. How would we be able to offer them compassion? Yeah, by recognizing your own, by recognizing your own. Do you know what I mean? So that as I know my own greed, I will be able to offer compassion, won't I? For your greed, you and me, we're in this together. I get it. That snarky tone in my voice, right? If I can understand where that snarky tone came from in me, when the snarky tone occurs in another, what can I do? I can bow, can't I? In understanding. I know, you would say, wouldn't you? I know how hard it is. And that would then be all you could do, wouldn't it? If you were honest about, right, our own afflictions, our own addictions, our own confusion, our own greed, our own aggression. What else could you do if you really understood that? And so then how do we struggle? Because we are going, of course, aren't we? Everybody's going, yeah, of course. You could only understand and be compassionate towards another's rage. How? By knowing mine, right? There'd be no other way. It would be a ruse, wouldn't it? It would be a joke. It would be false. It would be the black dharma, we call it, which is looking a certain way, right? The black dharma is understood as this looking good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How many times have I postured compassion? You know how I do it? Oh, I understand. I'm thinking, what a dope. I can't believe you did that again. Who am I really talking to? I can't believe you fell in that false well again. Oh, no, I understand. It's okay. No problem. Right. We've done it. Right. And then you can feel the contractedness in the heart. You can feel the, boy, I'm not asking him out to dinner again. This is the third cancel. Right. Right. So this is how we begin. Beings are numberless. That means you're going to encounter, isn't it? Infinite opportunities, infinite, endless opportunities to wake up, to bring true understanding, compassion, right? Love is too big a word, but ultimately, don't we mean this? We do. Ultimately, we mean this. Beings are numberless. I vow to liberate them. I'm liberating them not because I think they need saving, though, because that's another egoic trip. I will save you, right? Me, the good one, Glenda, my Glenda. I had a Halloween costume, which Carrie was a beautiful part of, and I had a crown for Glenda, and it was this big. And I had a wand for Glenda, and it was this big. And I thought, this is my false ego. There it is. Just bing, bing, bing. And I had a big pink dress. It was tooled to death. I got it it was amazing. My favorite outfit ever. My favorite outfit ever. Why? I could look the part, but really not so valuable if I couldn't see what was really there. So we get this idea. I think we'll stay with beings are numberless. I vow to liberate them because I really want you to know that to liberate somebody else means that you and they in this moment together are liberating each other. That this moment, however difficult, however confused, however unresolvable, is not accidental, but is in fact constructed by causes and conditions that have placed you perfectly here, so that you have this amazing opportunity to save who? Well, you, and then potentially, right, the other two, by your even pausing. Like, look at the beauty of that. I couldn't think of one brilliant thing to say in this moment, but I could not go, I don't know. Right? Look at that. Look at the saving of everyone there. And in the deeper teachings, which we won't review, it says you are offering not only karmic merits and benefits to yourself, but to others, and then all beings who have ever been snarky. It's encouraging. There's hope for us all. Just that one moment where I thought, you're not going to say anything, is better. And then maybe the next time I don't even grit my teeth, I just go, that's better. And then I one time finally go, I know. I know. I know the fear of this. I know the pain of this. I know the confusion of this. And not just in the other, but in myself, right? I know what it's like to leave with 15 bags full of stuff, knowing that I don't have ultimately everything that I committed to bringing, and that I have everything I need, right? And that I have everything I need. That's the wisdom, right? So then we don't at all. Is there anybody who doesn't understand what I'm saying? And is there anybody who then doesn't take these teachings like I do as well and think there is no possibility for this? This is like the impossible. I've taken on Mission Impossible. There's no hope for me. And that's not true. There is hope for you, but it is exactly the same as it is for me. It is only now, isn't it? It's just now, not next Thursday, not in 5 years, not at the time of death. Forget about it. It's just now. And what you could do right now is remember your capacity that you possess. This is the promise, the capacity for those vows. And the one thing you maybe could do is consider that possibility. And rather than get all into counting and measuring and did I or didn't I, you just commit yourself again and again. Good news, bad news, I don't know. You commit yourself again and then again and then again. And that would be the path, wouldn't it? No problem. You don't have to think about, right? Think about doesn't mean you don't reflect on, but think about the moment before. And you don't have to worry about the one to come because you're just in this one, committing yourself completely to that vow. Beings are numberless. I vow to liberate them. And so I begin with myself. And so let's prepare to practice. Keep those vows with you. If you don't have them, looking at who's on, I will send these to you. And so we begin just here and just like this, feeling the sense of the whole body sitting here. And seeing if we can make contact with the truth of this precious human life that we have been accorded and that is accorded to few. This human life that can actually choose kindness, can choose love, can choose forgiveness, patience, generosity, compassion. And then we begin by resting in that heart mind, this heart mind, the one that can awaken and choose goodness, can choose care, can see oneself and all beings as deserving of love and attention. And this step is called awakening the bodhicitta, awakening the heart that knows the truth. And there is no practice without that heart, without that knowing, without that commitment. That is then made again and again each breath. And then we begin with ourselves. Can I simply abide this body with some kind of friendliness, some kind of care, appreciation, gentle attention, and where it is failed and failing as it will? Can I bring self compassion? This body, just like this, in this human incarnation. And one of the instructions suggests the best way to make contact with the whole of the body is the felt sense of the whole body breathing. So rather than part by part, we hold the body as a whole in its expanding, enlivening, in its abiding, and then in its settling, its releasing, its softening, coming to rest, earth to earth. And that we take a moment there in that contact of this earthen body to the earth itself, and we rest. And in the Theravada school, it says you can even extend that rest at the end of the out breath a little bit longer. You can just rest there, not gripping, grabbing, rushing to the next in breath. Neither, though, do we deprive ourselves. We allow the breath to come when it comes. And then the second instruction is to enjoy the breath, this new opportunity, this new beginning. And that we breathe it in fully. With this in breath, I awaken. I've got one more chance, one more possibility for care, for kindness, for compassion, for love. And I take it in fully. And then I greet that transition from in breath to out breath with another commitment. What I have just taken in, with the possibility of awakening that I have just experienced, and my full commitment to that, just this one breath, I breathe out the wish that others know this too, that others be free from suffering, that others have this opportunity and this possibility, not only to awaken, but to wish and then contribute to the awakening of others. And we do that on the out breath. And then we rest once again at the end of that out breath. This moment complete. And in that space between the out breath and the next in breath, we let go and we prepare to begin again. Breathing in, I commit to awakening, not only for myself, but for all beings. And we don't just think it, we feel it fully. We ignite again and again that awakened heart of bodhicitta. And on that out breath, we send that love, that compassion, that care out. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings awaken. May I contribute. And then we rest. And then I am of benefit with each in breath. I am of benefit with each out breath. and I am of benefit in the pause. And see if you can't feel into that heart space for the energy to continue. Of benefit on the in breath, of benefit on the out breath, of benefit in the pause. We do not control the breath. We direct the heart mind with the breath. The breath is the medium for our love. The repetition of the phrases is useful. But if language is not easy for you in the practice, then you can cultivate an image. Breathing in, I imagine my heart space more radiant, bigger, warmer, more alive. I let it open and expand. And on the out breath, I send out all that goodness. It may look like a warm glow, radiant light, a warm blanket. Beings are numberless. I vow to liberate them, beginning here with me and this one breath. And then we place the mind in that radiant, gentle, kind heart again and again. And then we begin to recognize that there can be no in breath without an out breath, no out breath without an in breath, no me without you, no you without me. And we smile at the truth of this interconnectedness. Breathing in, I am awake. Breathing out, I am peaceful. Breathing in, I recollect my aspirations, my commitments, my vows. Breathing out, I live them with and through and for you. We relax the body. Remembering not only our goodness, but all of the goodness that has come throughout the lineage, that has come throughout time, throughout infinite, numberless beings. So that you could realize this moment. We breathe in love. That nourishment, that care, that attention for our own wholeness and well being necessary. And then we breathe out love. And then we do it again. Committing ourselves as wholeheartedly as the first breath. And then we become that living prayer, a vow embodied and enlivened. It's no longer an idea, a myth, or an aspiration. It is the truth of this present moment. And then every breath, every moment becomes simply an opportunity. We guard the mind with these aspirations, with this vow, wholehearted commitment again and again. And then we let go of the breath altogether to rest in this infinite, vast, and boundless reality of the ever expanding, awakened heart mind. And then everything becomes the realization, the appreciation for the bird song, the resting in this body, and this beginning again. Nothing is a distraction. The mind is ever pointed, ever enlivened in bodhicitta. Oh, beautiful Bodhisattva heart, may you arise where you have not yet come to be, and where you have arisen, may you never diminish, but grow and flourish evermore and more. May this practice contribute that this be so. So be it. So what do you know? Do you know? Yes, we can embrace it all. Tanya said both our lightness and our darkness become just an opportunity, isn't it? Good day, bad day, equal, equal in possibility, isn't it? And so where the questions, where's the but but
They deserve it.
they deserve it. You have to be able to do that at some level, don't you? You have to be able to separate you from the other. It's required. And then you have to see them as different, essentially different, that their distress is not the same as your distress in some way, and that they aren't as good as you. They have failed. And consequently, you get the snark. It's so easy to do. It's required. Oh, by the way, it's not just easy, it's required because you couldn't do it if you didn't already separate from them. If you didn't already see the other as somehow not you, it wouldn't be possible, would it? If you remembered your own greed, your own righteousness, your own preference, right? You could only go, right? I get this. I get this. And then you would act accordingly, whatever that would look like. But we forget so easily because the other looks like they're over there in a whole different body with a whole different name and a whole different identity, and one I don't even get. It requires this.
In a way, it's so obvious because the other person's snarky, and so you're snarky back. It's like there it is, it's you and me.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing.
We're doing exactly the same thing. We have forgotten, right, for this moment in exactly the same way. And because now the other is a threat or a burden, or we fear something about them, or we don't feel validated. I love these words. By the other, right? We go, so I can hurt you because you have hurt me.
Why do we do it so easily?
Why do we do it so easily with those that are closest to us? Greg says, and it's always true. It is always true. We do to those we love things we would never consider saying or doing, would we, to anybody else? You just wouldn't. But there they are. Why is that, do you suppose? Zoom participants, why is that? What's your understanding of that for you? Safety? Yeah, you can be snarky with them. First of all, they're probably not going to kill you. Yeah, but
Yeah.
and right, but blah, blah, blah. And you've done it to me, and so we're kind of an equal dukkha. We've got a little dukkha pattern here, which is right, and we feel justified, frequently entitled, righteous, misunderstood. This is one of my favorites.
3-year-olds.
3-year-olds fighting over the same banana. Right? Yeah. Burning. Dennis is burning together. It's really true. It's really true. But we can, in any moment of recognition, we're already ahead. And I don't mean us versus them ahead. I mean, we're ahead for us all. Because then we can say things like, I don't want this for us. Right? If nothing else, you can say, I don't want to fall back in the pit. Well, you're the one that started it. Probably. And the truth is, it couldn't start if I didn't contribute. Could it? That's actually true. whatever's going on, if you didn't take the other end of the rope, there could be no tug of war. Would there? There'd just be a rope with somebody pulling on it. And back they'd go. And then you could help them up.
I'm struck by what you said about positioning. It's kind of popping up for me over and over. And I was thinking about how much listening is required. Because not only are you positioning, the other person is positioning. And so it really does take listening to go behind that facade. They're just as afraid as I am.
That's right.
They're just as whatever.
That's right.
But it's so easy to read that facade
As real.
as truth.
Yeah. I used to say we mistake the fence for the yard. Right? Because you get nothing but the shut, and you go, that's who you are. But we certainly don't want that. We don't want to be mistaken for our aloofness, our shutdown, our greed, do we? We don't want, because that's not who I really am. And this is one of our first mistakes, is to believe that all that is something true about the other, not just their protection as well. And if you understood it simply as a protection, what would you do?
Be more understanding. Be non-threatening.
Yeah, you'd commit yourself to a non-threatening, gentle, quieted, peaceable action, loving, to the extent that was possible. And you couldn't do otherwise. So this is what we mean when we say it is delusion that creates all the harm, isn't it? Delusion, the perception that the other is other, number one, and that the other is something rude, or right. And I'm not saying it isn't, there's not the appearance of accuracy in it. I'm saying that's not really who any of us really are. Actually, we all want ease, we all want peace, we all want happiness, we all want connection, we all want joy, and there is no exception. Though most of us would say, wow, if that's what you're really shooting for, you're some distance from the mark. But the truth is, I'm some distance from the mark because I just thought that about you. Doesn't it? I just thought that about you, which is you're just not getting it right. Which is as far from right as we could, or wise is what I really mean. I don't mean right as in right, wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's as far from wisdom, as far from love as you could possibly get. As the other is falling, what are you doing? You're kicking them.
Well,
you're pushing them down the hill.
Diana,
Yes.
I have a quick question and something in regard to all this as well. Like, I mean, we're all imperfect, right? Imperfect. We're not perfect.
Perfectly imperfect, yes.
We're perfectly imperfect, and we're gonna fail, and we're gonna fall. And when we do, like you said about having that compassion, having that understanding, like empathy, what I don't know what else to say, but doing that and feeling that and being that support, I mean, it's I don't know, it's just kind of like a big trip, I guess, like how we then, like, in our imperfectiveness, then go into that blame and judgment and guilt and all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was recently remembering, like, one of the studies that we did with about PEMA, and I think it was when she was saying, the things that you think are reality but aren't reality, like, oh, the grass is green and the sky is blue and the flower is purple, or all the things that we are trained to learn, like that just kind of came up
consensual
too.
delusion. Yes.
Yeah.
That we are separate
Hmm.
is understood to be the first delusion. And then if we know that as false, then you know that everything you do is a contribution, a potential contribution to the end of suffering, right? And uh, guilt, shame, um, really, we are trained for that because we all come with this idea of being perfect or getting it right or hitting the mark, and we're, our pro- productive, consumable, right? You got to get to this, you have to get that degree, you've got to, right, have X, Y, or Z to be enough, doesn't help us, certainly, right? And then we go, well, it's my fault or it's your fault, but all fault is unskillful. All fault finding is unskillful, right? And the only thing I do is try to take responsibility for the part I played, not mistaking it as my inherent self or goodness, but understanding it as a moment of humanness, as a moment of suffering, as a moment of confusion, and then offer myself what I need in order to begin again. And so watch for those. If only I hadn't, this would have all worked out. This is giving you both too much credit for difficulties and not enough credit for the good you can do now, for the possibilities alive in this moment time, which is all we've got now, isn't it? So whatever happened the moment before, the day before, the year before, the week before, other than understanding it, how it could have occurred, there is no benefit other than let me then be kind, gentle, and begin with yourself. Then it really, that guilt and shame requires not that we go out and figure out how to do it better for the other, but how do we do it better for ourselves? Well, what's better about it is I'm going to start again. I'm going to begin again. I'm not going to perceive myself as somehow deficient and we all have committed unskillful action. There's not a person you're ever going to meet, right? Ever. And you would care for them. You would believe they were worthy of love and attention. So then we must offer it. If we believe that truly, we must offer it to ourselves, right? Because then it's a lie. If you believe others are worthy and you are not worthy, you've already fallen into the delusion that somehow somebody's got it together enough and they are deserving. I didn't get it together enough. I'm not deserving, or vice versa, as Greg is saying, right? I did it right. You blew it because I put all the right words in all the right order. I am the best at this, right? I am the best. I can get all the right words in all the right order. And then I've got a partner who goes, psychobabble. That's that psychobabble. And I go, no, really, really, I mean this. I really want to find a way for you and I. Yeah, 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 you and I. You and I. And then I lose it, right? Because all my beautiful witchcraft working for shit. And then I remember, well, it wasn't about getting a result. The result was beginning here with myself. Then that was perfect, wasn't it? Because then I can recognize my snarky and recognize my own need for a little rest, a little ease, an extra moment, some compassion, and I can begin again. And you know what I've noticed about it? Then I don't ask for things I don't need because I've already filled a certain quality of my own tank. then I construct exactly what I need. And if not with the other in the moment, then with those who can be available. Right? And that's what we're all doing. That's why we're together. And then we do it again, and then we do it again. The neuroscience says if you don't keep placing the mind in this way on purpose with intention many, many, many times a day, there is no hope. There is no hope for it. If what we spend most of our time doing is going, I didn't get it, you didn't get it, I failed, you failed, this is never going to work out, I can't believe I'm in the city, right? We spin that kind of dharma, that's that black dharma, in the mind, and then it looks true, doesn't it? It looks true, and we make it true. So we have to be guarding our own minds. This is the early teachings. It says, do not let the mind go into these places of guilt and shame. It will not serve you or others. And it is not true. It is not true, because it is not true of anyone. There is no one who is wholly bad. Is there? And if you did believe it, then you'd have to believe it about everybody, wouldn't you? Well, you messed up and you messed up and then you messed up. Well, you messed up and then you, right? We could write everybody off pretty quickly. But there is another way, right? Beginning with ourselves. And then we don't write anybody off, do we? We don't write ourselves off and we don't write others off. And it is okay to say difficult moment, isn't it? Difficult moment, don't know what to do moment, under-resourced moment. I better take a step back here before harm is done. And that's brilliant. That's brilliant. We mistake this idea of kindness, I think, often for doing extra, right? If you do extra, that's kindness. If you, right, it isn't, it's right there when we go, I'm just going to choose not to snark back. What an incredible, isn't it? Wouldn't it be?
Really with this unconditional friendliness.
Yeah.
And because then you can see it, and you're not saying but you're kind of pulling the veil away from it, seeing that part of you does that. It is that within all of us. So I think we need to do that to protect ourselves.
Yes. We think we need to do it to protect ourselves. And really, there is the truth of real protection. But what is it? There's no amount of snarky that gets it. There's no amount of judgment that in fact, if anything, we become more brittle, more vulnerable, more brittle, more vulnerable the whole time. What is it? Can I stay on my own side, says Rick Hansen. And then by doing so, I can end up being on your side too. And that for me has equaled very small movements of saying nothing, doing nothing, and actually lovingly taking a step back. That's it. It's almost invisible. I get no applause ever for these actions. And they are of the greatest heart. That rather than just grab the rope, takes everything, doesn't it? To go, no, I with understanding will not contribute to my harm or yours. Right? I just won't. I just can't, because I already know where it goes. And we all already know, don't we? There's no confusion. We already know. The eye roll, right? The hand, whatever we're doing. and the damage. And the damage. And it's not just the damage to the other at all. It's the damage to us, isn't it? It first victim right here, right? For that harm. And it's actually diluted because we don't recognize that we're all really just children looking for care. You know, however misguided or confused or angry we look, we're all just looking for the same thing, always. Always. And can I see that no matter what my reaction and no matter what the skillfulness of yours? Can I recognize this is just all of us trying to get the care, the love, right? That we're all really looking for. And then how do you offer it? Well, mostly with the mirror back and, you know, this dramatic on the skin pattern. And we're all working on it together. We'll be working on it according to the suttas for lifetimes. I think a lifetime is just this. That's it. And I think the infinite 10,000 lifetimes, right there. Did I get it? Just here. Could I wake up? Just now. Can I? Just now. Can I hesitate? Can I pause? Just one breath. Like complete success, right? You just elevated the entire humanity in that one moment. And that's not a joke. That really isn't a joke. You've literally lifted up everything. That one time I got it means there is the potential for others to get it too, isn't there? And in fact, it is real. You know, we now have beautiful scientists like Sheldrake and others who say just the fact that you got it elevates all of humanity forever. That your wisdom, this moment, equals another wisdom, which equals another wisdom, which equals another and another and another, and it cannot be undone. And it cannot be undone, which is why we're going to keep working so hard to greet all aversion, all struggle, all not liking, all didn't go my way. This is ridiculous. It's not fair. I can't believe I have a partner who does X and Y and Z. We're just practicing right here continuously. Can I wake up here and not further harm? In fact, by the very not furthering harm, what do we know? You are liberating all beings. That's that first sentence. You are liberating all beings by that one pause, by that one moment. So exciting. And Rupert Sheldrake says it so.
Difficult thing in this society because it's capitalism is based on
Yeah. And winning, which means winning over. Yeah. Right? It's true. That's right.
it's a constant prevalent thing in every bit of our society.
Yeah. And we have a brainstem that can easily buy in. Can't we? More is better. Let's start there. More is better. And then the right versus wrong that we can easily jump into. And natural competition, Renee is saying, we have used it in our culture for sure as a device for success, for having enough, and it will kill us. It will. It will kill us. We're, 200 and something years old, not doing so great, actually, if we don't get this better. And so we can't jump into the macro of it because we easily fall off the mountain and get overwhelmed. It is good to recognize that everything, every commercial, everything you look at on TV, right, is going, get more, do more, get better, do better, take it from the other. You get it for yourself. Get it for yourself. You deserve it. You deserve a break today. Don't ya? Yeah. Don't we all? Yes.
Few words about when Tom passed away.
Yes.
Oh, Susan Kinnear, who,
She was for many years. Yes.
probably know more about it than I do, but
Yes.
I mean, I just knew how wonderful it was to have her as part of it.
Yes.
And I feel like she is part of it.
She is absolutely. Greg is talking about Susan Kinnear Shapley. Susan got married just in October. I did not know this of last year, and died December, I think, 14th or something of 2 months later. Susan was a part of our Sangha. She did one of her first compassionate care training she did here in our Sangha, was a sharp therapist, was one of the kindest, gentlest, most loving people you would meet. A very alive, loved travel, went to Africa to do missions, was truly an incredible human being, and died very suddenly from likely some kind of, we understand, toxic shock sepsis like dynamic. Jim would certainly understand that better. What it was for me is not as important as that the world is lesser, for sure, with her passing. And we will call her to mind today in our dedication. She took Bodhisattva vows with us. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And was a true living Bodhisattva. She lived the Dharma full on. In fact, their wedding vows, I read later, were all about what they could now together offer to others in the world. It was quite beautiful and very sad to me personally that she, whatever happened, did not allow her to continue. Though I trust she will. All her good will continue. Good works, infinite, infinite. And that's why we're talking about it. All right, let's offer the Bodhisattva prayer for Susan, for all those who are subject to the truths of this human life. Whatever our goodness, whatever our confusion, we are all subject to illness, aging, death, and loss. And it is only then our goodness, the merits of our goodness, the continuation of our goodness that we aspire to go on. And Susan, we love you. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge, for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are free from sorrow and all are awakened. May we all have happiness and the causes for true abiding happiness. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we recognize, be joyful and glad at our good fortune, and then commit that good fortune, not only to our well-being, but to the well-being of others. May we rest and dwell in this vast and boundless, wide open and spacious bodhicitta heart until all beings are freed from suffering and all are awakened. May it be so. May it be so. So be it. Thank you all so much for being here, for committing yourselves to this impossible, possible path made alive just now by you. Thank you all so much. Good to see you all. I'll look forward to seeing those who can I catch next Saturday. And then we have an entire schedule. We will be still doing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, and Sundays with the Sangha. And I'll be trying to drop in when I can. I just don't know how that's going to look quite yet. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, y'all have
It'll be on a different day.
May have to get, it'll be a different day. I'll be on Wednesday, you'll be on
Okay.
Tuesday. Yeah, yeah. It's,
It's
I
more
don't,
than It's like.
I don't know what it is. I
It's
just,
It's a day and
It's a day,
something.
but it'll be like.
it'll be
ice.
yeah. I can't wait to play with that and see how that's going to work for us all. We do have a Philabelly at the end of February. You all are going to be getting something from Lynn, who's taking that on for us. How lovely. And we have a half day coming now, March 29th. We're going to be talking about that half day because not only is it going to be a half day, we're going to do it again at Pete's, and we're going to be doing a microdosing half day, which will be a little opportunity. We're noticing people are going, I got thrown into a journey experience when I really didn't have enough other. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun for those who are in a half day is just a half day. It's always the same. But for those who are interested in a little investigation with a microdosing, we're going to do that as well. And I feel really excited about that. Feels like a really good idea. So I will look forward to that coming in March. May we all be well. Be well, everyone. Take good care. I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you all for staying on. Thank you. Be well. Robin, good to see you.
Goodies out.
Yes. Oh, the goodies. Yes, I want everybody to try.